This is me now, but this was me a few years ago. The reality is it takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight. Yes, could I have potentially done this sooner? Maybe, but I don't know. Growing up, I was always active. I loved sports, I loved going outside, running around, doing whatever. But I kind of hit a point, I just started to gain weight. My parents didn't really know why. Obviously, I didn't know why. Looking back now, I probably had body image issues as a kid and I didn't really understand what it was. I just knew I'm not like everybody else. I run around, I play sports, yet I'm bigger and I don't look as skinny. One of the main things I can remember from school is lunchtime. I remember going to lunch, getting your food, sitting down with your friends, having a chat, whatever. But I remember thinking, oh, can I have that cake? Oh, which of these is going to be the healthiest option? Which isn't going to make me fatter? Thinking in my head, I'm the only person that's thinking like this. All my friends are having the cakes and they don't care what it's doing. It doesn't affect them. They're still going to stay skinny. They can eat it. Whereas I'm here like, well, I want it because I'm the same as them, surely. Like, I'm allowed to have this. But at the same time in my head, I'm going, I can't have this. I'm fat. That's not the right thing to do. I've constantly, or at least periodically, gone on and off of tracking calories, or at least very subconsciously thinking, oh, this is going to make me fat, this is going to be something bad to eat. Yo-yoing and going back and forth on this isn't a good option. Let's face it, that's the reality of it. And I most likely was cheating myself every time I was doing this. I was going, oh, I'm only having a few of these sweets, so that's fine. Oh, I'm only having this, it's fine. And I was realistically probably having far too much. Say, tracking the calories, it's cheating yourself on how much you've actually done of a portion. Because a lot of the time they go, oh, I've had 100 grams of this. 100 grams of something isn't always necessarily how much you think it is. Chances are it's a lot less. So you're overeating and not tracking the amount of things you're having right if you're not weighing them. Or going, oh, I'm only having a small bit of this, but not fully understanding the macros and the calories and everything behind it. I knew exercise wasn't the issue. Like I said, I was an active kid. I liked going outside, running around, kicking a football around. I've done kickboxing since I was 7 years old. I left when I was 20 due to moving, but I'll still go and hit the punching bag as and when I can. I've been going to the gym since I was 15 years old. Granted, I wanted to do that sooner, but I literally wasn't allowed to. Since COVID, it's been home gym, and quite honestly, now obviously, I'm in the best shape of my life, so something's obviously gone right along the way. Personally, I feel there's a part of me that thinks that at this point I've just kind of outgrown it. Sort of the weight's just come off me as I've gotten a bit older and I've matured. Maybe my hormones have just leveled out, I don't really know. Part of me thinks, oh, it's nothing that I've actually done. I've not done anything different. It's just my body sorting itself out. Reality, I know that's not the case because I have done quite a few things to help push me in this right path. Look at my transformation video. I would definitely say the past year, or at least even just 2024, has been the point in which things have sort of lined up quite nicely. And I think this is just where I've sort of twisted myself in a gear, made myself a little bit stricter, and ultimately everything has just lined up. Part of me is like, well, why didn't this just happen years ago? And that is a slightly frustrating part. Could what I'd done now, if I just applied this a few years back, would it have happened there? And then would the point I'd be now be completely different? I don't know. It is what it is. It's now is this point of this is where I am. This is now I am in the best shape. I've learned from the past, and it's time to take all that knowledge and keep going and pushing myself and becoming the best I can be. So since over the years, I have tracked my weight since about 2016. Being the tech nerd I am, I have graphed this all because why not? Granted, I've only graphed this within the past couple of weeks. I haven't had this as a graph for the whole time. But it's a good way to prove that the direction in which you're going. Because weight's never going to be linear. It's never just always just going to go down. It's never just going to be a straight path down. It's going to have peaks. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. You're going to fluctuate. But as long as that trend line is in the right direction, it's alright. This graph here that I'm showing you is from 2016 all the way till now. And you can see that there's points that it goes up, it goes down, goes back up again, but on the whole, obviously that linear path is all the way down. That's literally over the course of 8 years. So I wanted to go through a timeline. You know, I've shared the video of my 9-year body transformation. I could have just done a 1-year body transformation from 2023 to 2024 and it'd be like, that's great. But in reality, I want to tell you and show you that it's hard, right? Because I know there's probably other people out there that are like me going, why is this not working? What am I doing wrong? I've been doing this for so long. And I want to tell you not to give up. Keep on going, keep on pushing. It ain't gonna happen overnight. And it's a harsh and hard reality, but if you just keep on pushing, keep on striving, you will get there. If you give up, you're never gonna get there. If you don't give up, eventually you'll get there. So if we flash back all the way to 2014, little 13-year-old Molly, literally just a teenager, and I'm already caring about my weight. Terrible. But this is probably the first time my family as a whole sort of had a realization about food and everything that we were eating. So through my kickboxing, my mum went through this 90-day fat loss journey. Now she has got a whole blog post and stuff like this about this. So if I remember, I shall link that below. Shout out to my mum's blog. Pretty much she went on 90 days and lost a good couple stone, and it was great. And it's like, oh my god, what have I done? Because she changed up her eating and all she was doing was body weight exercises. Right? No cardio, no let's go on 5-mile runs or any of this. And they delved into, right, what is it that we've actually done and changed up in the diet that's done this? And ultimately mum read a few different books, so did dad, and ultimately it was dropping the carbs. Getting rid of the carbs that you don't need, because at the end of the day your body has fat stores. So if you're not giving your body glucose that's unnecessary, your body is going to use your fat stores as energy. You gave it energy, it's going to use that energy first. If it doesn't use the energy you've given it in food, it's going to go, well, I need to store this and keep this for a later date. So your body goes, well, I'll take that glucose, store it as fat. If you never give your body that glucose in the beginning, your body's just going to take that fat, go, oh, let's use some of this as energy, we'll keep the rest reserved to the side. So as a whole, you know, mum makes my dinner, I'm going to eat what mum makes. So I didn't really have much of a choice. We didn't have the chips anymore, we didn't have the potatoes anymore. Okay, what a shame, I eat what I'm given. If you've got kids and you're like, oh, I can't do this diet because nobody's going to eat it, if they ain't going to eat it, well, they can go make it if you're the one cooking. So as a result of this just kind of changed the whole dynamic of how our family was eating. And obviously I became aware of what I was eating more and more from about the age of 13 and knowing, oh, I shouldn't probably be having that sandwich because it's got bread on it. Or I shouldn't be having that cake because it's just sugar, which obviously we all know anyway. So flash forward to 2016, this is where the start of, I actually started tracking my weight. I was 14, 15 years old. I finally managed to get into the gym, I think a year earlier than allowed. Granddad managed to pull a few strings with the owner and got me in at 15, so I am very grateful for that. But I've been wanting to go to the gym and lift weights and move heavy things since, you know, I don't know how long. My parents took me to the gym when I was a baby with them, so it's probably slightly ingrained somewhere in the back of my head. So I finally got to the gym, finally got the chance to start lifting weights. So if you take a look at this graph, this is my weight in 2016 alone, right? So pretty much the second half of 2016 as a whole. And you can see that pretty much that trend is all the way down. There's not actually that many spikes, and realistically, that was a pretty good year for me. 2017, I'm age 15, 16 now. I think this is the first time I ever got my hands on my protein. Not that I'm wearing it right now, this is Gymshark. But first ever time I got my hands on my protein, got some protein supplements going, yeah, we need to kickstart the protein, build them gains, living my best life. This is a graph for 2017. Now this don't look that great. So I was going through my GCSEs at this point, so there's a potential it was one of the least of my worries, in all honesty. I probably wasn't tracking that much. It's very stable, I suppose, but realistically, this year was not good in the terms of weight loss, should I say. This is my prom year, which, by the way, now look at this photo. This is me at prom versus November 2023 in my prom dress. This just proves how you can use clothes to measure how you look and how you feel, and if your clothes are fitting differently, chances are you're doing something right, even if the scale doesn't necessarily say you're doing something right. If you look at the chart for 2018, it's not great. This is probably one of the worst years, actually. Thinking back now, I don't really know why. But at the same time, I was going through my A-levels and a few other things were happening that I was potentially not getting the opportunities to go to kickboxing, going to the gym as often as I should. Now you can see that there was a trend down and then it kind of peaked back up again and again went down, but overall the linear path was up. Now this is where you can see, if you're tracking it like this and actually having charts, it makes you much more aware of what's happening. Now obviously back then, like I say, I didn't have these charts, I just had it written down. So I could see visually, okay, that weight's higher than the next and higher than a few weeks ago. I would recommend, if you are able to chart and you can figure out how to do it, because it will be nice to know for yourself internally that I am trending in the right direction. Okay, this week the weight might have been up, but it's not the end of the world. So 2019, for some reason I didn't really track my weight. I don't know how this happened or why this happened, but like I say, this was literally A-level year from obviously the January to the May, June sort of time. I was in A-levels and doing all of that, so I think there's a potential where it was partially the least of my worries, to the point I remember there was times, because I was revising and stuff like this, I wasn't getting the opportunities to go to my kickboxing and punch some stuff. And I could tell I was getting more stressed and more anxious and stuff like this, and I'd go and I would feel so much better. So it just proves the importance of exercise and how exercise is really good for your mental health. Like, that period of time really proved to me exercise is great for mental health, and if you're not doing it, I recommend it. After I left school, I was my heaviest. This is where I kind of initially thought, right, I've left school, I want to make a transformation video and see how it goes, you know, sort of, okay, if I track it now and start, I've got nothing else really to worry about because I'm not at school no more. I mean, I've got literally video clips here, I'll play some of them from that time. 8th of June 2019, current positioning, current fatness. 2019 was also the time when I actually finally started doing some compound lifts, getting the deadlifts in, finally going into the free weights rather than just sticking to the machines. And now I will say compound lifts are such a key staple of what I'm doing. So, 2020, what a year that was. COVID, lockdown, 18, 19 years old, and we're stuck inside. I can't now go and do my activities that I would normally do. My kickboxing stayed on Zoom online, so I was doing that still every week and seeing everybody, so that was great. And I just started, there was days I was doing 2 workouts a day. We transformed our garage into a little bit of a gym. And I say transformed the garage into a gym. We got a weight bench and we started doing, me and my dad started doing workouts in there. Eventually mum joined us occasionally and we built up our little collection there. But there was, in the morning I was like, oh, I'll do some skipping because I want to work on some endurance. There was points I was like, I'll go on a little run again to work on cardiovascular health. You know, I'd be kicking a football around all day because it's like I've got nothing better to do. If I wasn't doing that, I will be honest, I was sat playing Minecraft all day, so that wasn't probably a good idea, but I was also still moving. Now, as they're looking at photos between 2020, 2021, changes did begin to happen, like nothing too crazy, but there's definitely changes there. Now, in 2021, I wouldn't say anything drastic happened. I've not even got any weights from 2021. Again, in and out of lockdowns, I believe. Trying to eat healthy, still doing the gym, and now if you look at this chart, this is February 2022 to December 2023. This is probably like the longest and most consistently I've got of tracking. And you can see, you know, it spikes up and down. It is constantly spiking up and down, but that trend line is in a downward spiral. That is great. But I began intermittent fasting, so basically just not having breakfast and eating from like 12, 1 o'clock till dinner, and then cycle that every single day. Now, I don't know whether this really just did lower my calories at all, because I don't think I was properly tracking calories at this point, but if anything, it gave my body a longer fasted state to just fat burn and eating as clean as I could from the knowledge I had. Now, at this point, I have also moved out, so you're an adult money, and your own free will. So the idea of getting a load of sweets and cake and things like this on occasion, you want to do it. So I'm not saying there was never times where that happened, because it was. Because at the end of the day, I'm 20, that's gonna be what's gonna happen. But like I say, if you look at the chart, right trajectory. 2023 was probably when one of the biggest changes happened, looking back at photos. I mean, at this point as well, we're probably more into a whole food, animal-based diet. From mid 2023, I changed my job as well, and I'm now in a more physically active job, so I think this definitely had an impact. I think it potentially was just the tweak in which my body needed to go, you need to, like, the amount of exercise you're doing is great, but you need to do more, because you're basically sort of a really annoying thing of going, yeah, you're doing a lot, but nah, it ain't enough for your body. So I think that has definitely helped, being in a physical job. The intermittent tracking stopped, less so scared about the sugars in fruits and stuff like this now, going, it's a natural healthy fruit. So yes, we're still well within that low carb type of diet, at least especially compared to a normal diet, but the carbohydrates in which we're getting are from natural whole sources. Now we've got 2024, and I've got quite a few graphs for this. Shout out to my parents who got us a really cool scale that actually tracks your body composition a lot better than just the ones where you stand on them, and it only does it from your feet. And a shout out to my dad for sorting out all these graphs for us and converting like percentages to kilograms and getting it all tracked. If you look at this chart, this is my weight chart from, I think technically it starts in 2023, but we've been consistently weekly tracking from the start of this year. Obviously, like I say, you can see there's peaks in the weight, it goes up and it goes down, but the trend line is completely in the right direction, and that is great. Like I say, these scales do your body composition. So this is my chart for my body fat. Obviously you can see it goes up, it drops really down, and then which I think is around December time, where we're doing a lot of ice skating, so our resistance training completely cuts out, but our cardio like completely shoots up. That's probably is the reason for this. Even though it's peaking up and down, the trend line is completely in the right direction. And then if you look at this chart, this is my muscle. So again, you can see it peaking up and down, but it's actually staying pretty flat. Now, the reason I believe this will be is because a lot of this year I've been pretty much in a calorie deficit, not really forcing my body to actually make any more muscle. Because of the calorie deficit, it's like, you know, your body's eating away, it's maintaining its muscle mass, which is great and what you want. You don't want to be losing muscle mass as you're, you know, losing weight. But obviously I'm not giving my body enough fuel to go, oh, let's make more of it. So I'm not necessarily like annoyed that this is like plateaued, basically. It's just good it's not going down. So like I say, so this year, 2024, I've definitely been a lot more strict when it's come to calorie counting. I have been pretty dead on it, measuring food, checking the calories. I'm not saying I've been perfect every single day, and there has been days that I have not tracked because I'm like, screw it, I'm over calories already, sod it. I think that's human nature, and I think that helps sometimes in the sense of where you let yourself have these treats, it brings the cravings down. Everybody's going to have different opinions on whether something's good, something's bad, or how much you can moderate and what moderation is. But if you can be 80 to 90% clean all the time, you're good, you're doing something right. But eating a pretty much whole food diet, prioritizing protein, sugars and things like this are from natural sources. We don't have your typical carbs of, you know, your grains and your potatoes and your pastas and stuff like this. If we were to have them, we're going to pick an organic version or a really high quality version of it. As it is a treat, it's not like it's something we're buying all the time, and you just know it's for better quality when you do come to have it. You know, making sure things you're having don't have a stupid number of ingredients. So if you did want bread, a bread from the bakery that's going to have real ingredients in it, less so than your sliced white bread. In terms of exercise, obviously my job has become a lot more physical, so I think that has definitely had an impact. But otherwise it's resistance training. We're doing weights training. We don't really do much cardio. We do cardio, like I say, we have our ice skating season in the winter. We've got mountain bikes now that we'll go out on. We'll occasionally paddleboard, go for a swim in the sea like we did last night. But cardio isn't really that much of a staple. Cardio is great for your heart health, and I will say I probably do want to do a little bit more, but in ways in which are fun and enjoyable, because me personally, I do not like going for a run. I've done it plenty of times for as and when I've needed it for kickboxing grading or something like this. Personally, me, I'm not a fan. Build muscle. If you have muscle, you're gonna burn fat, and at the end of the day, if you have muscle, you're gonna feel and look a lot better. If you do want to do cardio, walking, hitting your zone 2, doing a walk that where you can just about hold a conversation. I mean, we'll go on walks and my watch will say I'm not hitting my zone 2, and if I walk any quicker, I'm going to be running, so clearly my heart is doing okay, I guess. Probably one of the best versions for you just because they're low impact. So if you can get 10,000 steps a day, do. I know it's not plausible for everybody, but if you can go on a couple 3-4 mile walks throughout the week, if you're not doing anything else, that is going to be loads better than just sitting on the sofa watching TV. It's lifestyle. You know, you can diet as much as you want, but if you don't change your lifestyle, you're just going to completely yo-yo. And you're going to be constantly up and down. You're going to go, oh, I've lost a load of weight, I look great. You go back to eating all the bad processed foods you were eating, and you gain it all back, if not more, and you're like, oh, what happened to me? Oh, I need to diet again. Oh, but I don't like dieting. Why is it healthy foods are now a diet? Healthy foods are normal. You know, if you're swapping from a really high ultra processed food diet to something that's just normal whole foods, chances are you're going to lose weight straight away without even bothering about calories, because you're getting rid of all the junk in your body. Like I say, prioritize protein, eat your whole foods, resistance train, walk, and it's a good baseline setup. I appreciate my body transformation. There's nothing crazy, nothing too extreme, but it's the reality of it. I want to show you that it will happen for you eventually. It will just take time, so keep pushing on forward, keep learning new things and keep pushing yourself and figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. How I once looked, it's very hard to not see yourself in that way anymore, but I'm definitely also getting to a point where I can see new things appearing and new bits of definition and stuff like this. So I'm definitely not perfect, and I don't think I'll ever be perfect, and I'll slowly learn how to accept but I'm definitely in the best shape of my life now. I'm going to continue to push and become even better if I can. Now hopefully somebody maybe out there has thought this is quite relatable and you're struggling in the same ways in which I've struggled and continue to struggle. If not, this was my story. Apologies if it's not as extreme as what you thought it was going to be. That is how I've got to where I am today. I'm still pushing, I'm still going, I'm still striving. So if you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Share your story, I'd love to hear it, and where you are on your journey. For now, join the Dino Squad, and I'll see you later. Bye.